Alrighty, let's go everybody. We're heading in with the Masters Clash Qualifier. This is qualifier number 2 in the first qualifier, as you could already see in the previously casted games. Lauber's fan club won the tournament, and as it happens, every single team that wins the tournament qualifies for the main event. So the fan club isn't participating in this qualifier. Washed Up still does though, since they went to the grand final against the fan club but weren't able to seal the deal there. So now as we're heading into this, we have Washed Up in the quarterfinals, and interestingly enough, Hype Pew Pew was able to take down Disgusting. So as it stands now, our first map of the best of 3 series at hand is Battlefield of Eternity, and this is in the current patch, in the newest patch. Deathwing has been banned again, therefore we're going to see slight adjustments in priorities on Deathwing. Is the hero still going to be banned out? Is it in the first ban or in the first pick? If he isn't, he's going to fall back a little bit more. There have been changes to Jimmy, of course, so Reyna might be pickable now. Mal'Ganis has been banned, nerfed slightly, so we might see his priority now fall slightly as well. But the first thing that happens is that we are looking at a ban against Li Ming. Fantastic, of course, the hero just in general, for the continuous poke that we have against the Immortal or the opponent's team here continuously. Rexa also getting banned, okay. And I'm very curious to see if Deathwing is going to end up on that ban list, yes or no. Another hero that has been banned consistently against Hype Pew Pew because they have blank in their lineup is the Butcher. Now this is of course Battlefield of Eternity. That doesn't really scream, okay, best Butcher map in the game, but this is something to at least keep in mind for the upcoming games. In the previous series, the Butcher has been consistently banned against Hype Pew Pew and in previous tournaments as well. But there's the ban against Johanna. So Johanna already eliminated out of our first game. And, well, when it comes to bans, we could even see Ana being banned out. Banana H on Ana, pretty solid, and that has triggered more than only one ban in the past. But there's, of course, still Sergeant Hammer to be considered. HasuObs has played with it a lot. And Nick can be hyper aggressive with his Carrigan if you get the chance here. There's a lot actually that you want to look at. Lucio isn't really something that I had on the list now, and Nick goes straight up into Jimmy. Okay, Jimmy first pick. Again, this is the first tournament on the new patch, which also means that the teams are, of course, still testing things out slightly, but with the recent changes to Reyna, it stands to reason that we're going to see him a lot more often in one of those top positions. If he's really first pick material, or if other heroes will fall into that slot, that's another question that we have to answer another day. But yeah, ETC gets taken. And Ana gets picked too. Okay, so now they're of course waiting still for a combo with Ana. Deathwing is in with a chicken skin. Yeah, that skin is just horrible for Deathwing. It looks like a chicken, like a plucked one, especially the model itself on the map. But fair enough, we get another Deathwing game on Battlefield of Eternity from Washed Up. This combo is already looking nasty. The new Reyna with the new level 1 talent, Deathwing, and it is kind of disgusting. Here comes Malfurion for Banana H. Now, of course, potentially also a chance for them to grab even Hammer for HasuObs if it isn't banned out. What's the red team banning? Is that going to be a better save than sorry play and you ban out Hammer just to be on the safe side, or are they actually going to risk it? That's the next thing. Oh, I can't watch. Okay, they banned Garrosh. Alright, yeah. Those are the heroes that I wasn't really afraid of. Honestly, on the side of, yeah, they banned Leo out. So Deathwing has a bit of an easier time topside. Blank has played Leo a couple of times. They are afraid of that March that Blank played in the previous series on Leo, Kappa. But yeah, here we go. Double pick, of course, now for Hype Pew Pew. But I'm scared. I'm scared for the 2 picks that we're going to see from Washed Up. That's actually what scares me slightly here. Not so these two. Greymane, okay, good against the Immortal. I like it. Hanzo is in as well. Honor! Honor! The Immortal is going to shake when he sees that. Like a friend of me in Spain has said, shaking like a dog in the rain. So that Immortal is not going to have a lot of fun whenever it pops up on the map with Greymane and Hanzo on the other side. There's actually a lot to do here. But there we go. Hammer time? It would be more auto attacks, obviously. That's like a bit of a weird one. Nah, it's Chromie instead. Chromie is in, and Myrden. Yeah, Myrden got also touched a little bit in the last patch. Not in only naughty places. But the dwarf is back. Okay. So it's time for the bearded one to shine in this game. And on Battlefield of Eternity, last pick, Heiser. What are we gonna get? Stage is nearly set. Obviously, huge favorite. Washed Up is the clear favorite heading into this. They reached the grand final the last time, and they won the last Division S season. And there is Uther, newly nerfed, but Heiser still believes in the power of the Lightbringer. I don't really think so, especially not in Europe. But hell, by any means, you might just try. Game number 1, ladies and gentlemen, the qualifier, the second qualifier for the Masters Clash Battlefield of Eternity between Hype Pew Pew and Washed Up. Game number 1, everybody! And off we go! HasuObs on Chromie. Doesn't get the hammer this time, but then again, Chromie also a nice hero for him to play here. And of course, they already have an auto-attacker. They got Nick on Reyna, we have Masquerade on Myrden, Banana H on Malfurion, and Dequaza on Deathwing. And also standard talent here with the Dragon Soul once again. Uther played by the Octa for Hype Pew Pew, Halcyon on ETC, we have Lord Evening on Ana, Blank on Greymane, and Heiser on Hanzo. And now we actually have a setup in which Exterminator might actually be useful, because Blizzard changed that talent as they changed. I mean, they pretty much changed every single level 1 talent. So now you deal 75% more damage to minions, mercenaries, and monsters, and you increase it even while Inspire is active. So all of a sudden we're talking about a hero that might actually have enough damage, thanks to their level 1 choice, to have a serious impact on the Immortal to an extent where you're willing to sacrifice teamfight damage over it. Because before that change, Exterminator was, if anything, a meme. Even on Battlefield of Eternity, no team worth its salt actually picked that, outside of Storm League, which is, of course, pretty much just quick match with a draft. So, aka a joke. So, this is a pretty interesting setup now. As I said before, teams are still gonna try things out. So that isn't necessarily going to be the consistent meta on this map. We've even had, as Exterminator was initially used, some teams try it out, but very quickly they all move back to standard talents like Ace in the Hole. But it's at least interesting to now see it being played, and we're gonna see the impact for sure. We have seen some impact already, and that was the end of Granny. Ana is down and has been eliminated. Myrden also with a dwarf block. That is new as well, newly introduced by Blizzard. So the old block is gone, and now you have a bit more of a block setup that also allows him, of course, to be a bit more aggressive. Well, actually, it's not only aggression. If you use Dwarf Toss, you can use it as an engage tool, and you can at the same time also use it to jump away. Either way, his survivability has been boosted by it quite a bit, and Masquerade is giving that talent a shot now too. And as we're talking about talents, we have now Shando's Clarity. At the same time now taken a level 4. Of course, Malfurion was also slightly adjusted up towards the top. Blank is now trying to take the camp, so it's an exchange. And here's the chicken in full display against that solo lane topside. But the pressure at the bottom of the map, that's a very different story. And yes, Exterminator should allow especially... Oh, that's already done. Should allow especially Jimmy to get a lot of damage in against the waves. Oh, that's a lot of damage actually by Chromie against ETC. So yeah, he was already suffering here. Look at the early damage numbers. Siege damage is actually pretty solid already for Jimmy, but Chromie is taking the cake here. The first objective is soon going to spawn though, and that's going to change things quite a bit. Yeah, up to the top, we have the European meme, aka Uther. Always good for a laugh, because Blizzard actually, now that Uther dies again, as usual, on that solo lane, Blizzard has actually written, obviously, comments on a lot of the changes, and the developer comment on Uther talked about him being the best support in the game now, and also excelling as a tank. Which pretty much clearly shows you that Blizzard doesn't watch any high-level play in Europe, but only focuses on North America, and, well... there's a slight gap in talent, but yeah, let's not talk about that too much. But either way, if anything, we see Uther on the European realm, sometimes in an offlane position, not really as a main tank, and that is, let's call it semi-successful. I think it has like a single-digit win rate. Top teams don't even touch that shit because they're like, nope. Paper My Lady and some other teams that are more so at the bottom standings of Division S or in the lower half have played with it a bit, but I think it won 1 game so far throughout 2000 and 2020, and in 2019 Europe hasn't had any big results with that either. NA on the other hand really likes to play that, but yeah. Bottom line, Uther got nerfed again on the sustainability and just simply his hit point pool and stuff. So he's a bit easier to kill now and shouldn't really fall into that main tank role any longer. But already 4 kills against 0. Nick is hammering away against that Immortal now that he has Exterminator on level 1. And that is something that should guarantee him a lot of Immortal damage and a really good setup here. So far he's definitely enough to put serious damage out. And when they split 4-1 and have Reina doing all of this alone, then it definitely works out. Hysa pausing the game. Unfortunately, that's something that we already experienced quite a bit in the previous series that was played by Hype Pew Pew. Apparently some of the players there have connection issues. In this case, I actually welcome it a bit. And of course they resume immediately. I was just about to say we can take a look at a few of those changed talents a bit closer, but the action is continuing immediately. The one caveat that I want to throw out here while we're talking about some of the choices that are being made is obviously Washed Up is a massive favorite in this series, so let's not forget about that. Anything that they pick will look good here. And already Quasar is jumping in deep. The kill against Hanzo. And they follow up with another kill against Uther. Talent on level 7. Still going here in the unstable compound that we now see. Besides that, we know of also Nature's Cure again on Jimmy. And by the way, when we're talking about Deathwing in particular and the builds that are being played on him, this is the standard build in Europe right now. Dragon Soul on level 1, heading into the Heat Wave on level 4, and then continuing with Skyfall on level 7. You'll see a lot of different builds and setups when you're going into the Amateur League and also when you're looking at North America. But at least on the European side, this has been the absolute standard and stable build for the top teams on the Hero. Now with 3 kills and therefore 9 in total against 0, you can already tell that this is a bit of a disaster. We might have a 6-minute game on our hands, and I want to stress again that there is a massive, massive gap between Washed Up and Hype Pew Pew here. Washed Up is this... They are top 2 in Europe. And Hype Pew Pew made it into the quarterfinals here by taking down Disgusting, which, to be fair, is a Division S team, but it was a close series. And in this case, 92% on the core. But a kill against Nick! Nick, that old feeder. Look at this. Yeah, that's a report right there. So Nick already feeding hard. And that's a kill. That's a lot of experience for Hype Pew Pew. Level 10 nearly for Washed Up, so that's a big deal. Muradin, after his level 1 choice, now continues with the heavy impact, which got also adjusted. So generally speaking, Muradin just really likes with that level 1 and level 7 synergy now to be a little bit more of a hobbity-hop bunny and trying to engage heavily. I mean, the good old days where heavy impact was also stunning out heroes was obviously fantastic, but that has been eliminated a long time ago. Was absolutely crazy though. But now you have the additional slows, and of course there's a little bit of memeing involved now too. Muradin is already sitting in the bush here, and they are going for Haymaker on level 10. As I said before, that could be a jump. And no, I was waiting for the Playmaker option, but we didn't see that. Yeah, but there will be a little bit of memeing around be involved in this one. So don't really assume that we're going to see from here on out in Europe on Muradin as a standard talent on level 10 Haymaker. That's not going to happen. But in this case, they obviously are already heavily favored and way ahead. Have 10 kills against 1. Muradin with another Stormbolt attempt, but Masquerade doesn't get it. He gets the Playmaker though, but this one, yeah, that was... HasuObs said like, no, I want to have him right here, You can always Haymaker him away, but I want to have him back here in just a second. So ult gets dropped, and there we have it. Now, with this little setup, we have nearly level 10 abilities for Hype Pew Pew. So that theoretically allows them to fight back here. But Jimmy is already going in. And again, with Inspire, he has a lot more damage output. But that's... I mean, just look at this. He's getting a ton of damage out. So yeah, it seems really like Exterminator is now an absolute solid option on this map. Whereas generally speaking, it's just like the disadvantages in the team fight always outweighed the advantages that you had on the Immortal damage. But that might have changed now. Jimmy is incredibly strong at this point, and, well, Chromie, of course, is too. She gets the kill against ETC. The meme strike hasn't done anything. Uther is dead again, and Murden is on the chase. Takes down Hanzo, and that is 14 kills against 1 in total. Camp is already at the core, I might add. Not that it's going to break through the shield by its lonesome, but we have 2 catapults joining in on the fun. And of course, on top of that, that Immortal is going to be taken any second and then moves down to the bottom of the map, where there's no fort anymore. They took that down earlier. So there's only the keep remaining. And with this setup, it's going to be nasty. Very, very nasty. Okay, so 23,000 damage on Deathwing. Seems like the chicken is still doing fine, even after the nerf. We'll see how that continues in the upcoming series, because those, once we're heading into the semifinals and into the grand final, games should be a bit closer, and then teams will have to put a little more effort into some of those plays. But for Washed Up, the coordination, the experience that they have, it is, of course, incredibly beneficial. And they are banking all those plays on them. There's a kill against ETC. Honestly, for Hype Pew Pew, it's probably an interesting lesson that they're currently learning here, but it clearly shows the gap, even in the post-HGC era, between one of the top teams on the European scene and a team that is trying to push into the Division S ranks. But yeah, there is a pretty massive gap. I mean, again, Lauber's fan club and Washed Up, the top dogs in Europe at this point. Other teams are trying to contest those positions, but it is tricky for them, to say the least. 13, where we have the Revitalize now. Bronzebeard Rage, and they're starting to go in straight with Deathwing, trying to make a couple of plays here. The Quasar needs to be careful. He gets heavily attacked, and the Uther kill is there, just as they needed. The Immortal is, of course, already on the core itself, and with the last keep being eliminated, that means that shields are falling quickly. ETC is down again. 6 kills against Uther, 5 against ETC. The core is going to fall, and Washed Up will take the lead in the best of 3 series here at the quarterfinal of Masters Clash Qualifier number 2. GG and well played, as the blue team secures the victory on Battlefield of Eternity. Tomb of the Spider Queen, game number 2, Washed Up in the lead, and again, there's of course a gap between the two of them. So that also means that we have to look at the draft with a bit of a caveat that we might see some memeing from Washed Up. It's always the thing, if they are actually in a series where they know that they're going to completely dominate that, you will see a few picks where they are just going to experiment. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a bad idea, but they are willing to just risk something by picking heroes that are maybe a bit more out of the box, or just speccing into a few different talents. And that doesn't have to happen here necessarily, but it could. So I already want to throw that out as a get-go, that this might actually be something that happens in the series. But as it stands, we have that ban against Lucio again. They apparently really don't want Banana Age to get Lucio, which I find very interesting, because so far most players, or most Lucio bans that I've seen, were against Ixia. And that is Crystal Gaming and not Washed Up, but fair enough. Apparently Banana has a little bit of a spec on that too. Are they letting the Butcher through? That's another question, because Butcher, as I said, was banned out continuously against Hype Pew Pew because of Blank playing it everywhere. So maybe Washed Up just says, you know what, just give him the Butcher. If he wants it, let's just give him the Butcher. I wouldn't mind seeing a Butcher, even if he goes vegan. Hell, why not? So that might be interesting. But yeah, with Rexa already banned out, there's that. And what I'm gonna get rid of on the blue team side, it is ETC. The Butcher is up. The Butcher is up in game number 2. For the first time. Could be picked now. Do they really want him though? Now, they obviously don't have to. It would be funny if they don't pick the Butcher as a first pick and then all of a sudden Washed Up takes it. That could happen. That could actually happen. Yeah, Jimmy gets taken. First pick again. He's Washed Up, gonna pick up the Butcher early on. I absolutely wouldn't put it past them. They know that Blank is the Butcher player on the other side. So if they really want to pick him, this might be one of the options where they can just like spec into him and see what they can pull off with it. And then you would already, of course, know that this is going to be a bit memey. But there's Garrosh and there is Deathwing. And this is actually the second time that Deathwing made it through, and he still looks like a chicken. It didn't change. You could see it on the last map, and you can see it here again. That is a ugly-ass skin. Horrible skin for Deathwing. Horrible. But, okay. I'm still waiting for the chance to get the Butcher here. Like, both teams know that everybody is thinking about it. Tyrael, oh, he chickened out. He chickened out. Blank on Leoric. I'm not saying that doesn't make sense. Leo is great here, but still. Everybody was waiting for the Butcher pick, and he just said, nope, not happening. Nope. They have Tyrael together with that, though. That is a weird pick here. Tyrael is a strange pick for this map and the heroes that they've so far have taken. I'm waiting for the Judgment plus Nova or False Dead Hinterland Blast. Like, I don't know. But Tyrael here is a bit odd. Yes, if you are thrown by Garrosh, you can jump back. But other heroes are good in that position too. Granted, we have 2 tanks already banned out, but I still don't really like that Tyrael pick. They have wave clear through Jimmy and Leo. Jimmy, at least to an extent, I don't think they're going to go Exterminator here. They can pick other heroes too. Another wave clear hero, I don't know. Pick Kalthas, Jaina, or whatever. Gul'dan. But still, Tyrael, we'll see. Okay, it's about time as we have Tychus in play. Tychus is trying to run them down here. And here comes Tyrande. Alright. How's that? I'm still scared because Nick is the one that usually throws the curveball. I mean, Tychus alone is already a little bit off, and Tyrande too. We have seen Tyrande played a little bit more. That's more so on Battlefield of Eternity, but the idea of course, still that with the Hunter's Mark you burn anybody down that goes up against you. But Nick is the one that throws the curveballs on their team, and he goes for Karrigan on this map a lot. So if we're going to see a weird pick, then it's going to be from him. Morales and Samuro. Is that a weird variation of the backdoor strategy? It seems like it is. Yeah, that makes... okay, that puts a little bit more sense on the Tyrael. Okay, so I get the Tyrael pick now, but this is still a bit of a weird one. Alright, let's see how that works out. They go for a backdoor. If that's going to be successful or not, that's a different question. So far, it hasn't really been successful whenever played in 2020. But yeah, let's go. Game number 2, Tomb of the Spider Queen, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's go, ladies. Yeah, we have a cheese composition against Washed Up. Washed Up on the left side on Tomb of the Spider Queen with HasuObs on Tychus, Nick on Maiev, Banana H on Tyrande, Masquerade on Garrosh, and Dayquaza on Deathwing. And on the right side of the map, Hype Pew Pew going for the Morales backdoor strategy with a bit of a strange setup though. We have the Octa on Tyrael, Hyza on Reyna, Halcyon on Samuro, and Blank on Leoric with Lord Evening playing Morales. So we don't see Sylvanas here, we don't have Greymane with it. Both of them are not necessarily needed. You want to have Tyrael for the Sanctification, of course. Samuro is also kind of nice for the structural damage, and in Jimmy's case we're going to see quite a bit of structural damage for sure, especially if he goes into Hyperion, which you can expect here. But I would have expected some other heroes just to add more of an oomph to the attack. And normally, of course, I mean, here's the thing. The backdoor strategy is usually very telegraphed, because if you pick some of the most important heroes early on, your opponent is quickly going to adapt and ban against you. Another thing is, one of the reasons why we pretty much never see the backdoor strategy win is because it's mostly played when you think you can't win against your opponent. When you think that your opponent is better than you, then you play a little bit of a cheese, and despite the fact that that cheese can be incredibly powerful and can be a very solid strategy that is incredibly annoying to play against, there's still a skill gap in that case, which then oftentimes leads to you falling behind anyways. Like we see here, for example, a nice setup into a double stun with the tether of Maiev starting all of these plays up, and then the kill against Jimmy, so that was a nice one. But there's of course still the chance that they are going to walk away with a bit of a victory here. Sniping those backline structures is always kind of nice, but you need level 10 for that, so we'll see if that ever comes to it. I actually think that all of the backdoor attempts so far have been thwarted and been eliminated. I think it was actually the Lauer's fan club though that played it once as well and won with it. But again, in that case you have a top team that plays in a bit of a meme setup against someone that is weaker. So we have very rarely seen it between two teams that are on eye level. And yeah, in this case, they also picked some other heroes just because they didn't want to have anything banned against it. But I'm game. I mean, it's always kind of fun. You know what's coming. Both teams do. But it's kind of fun to watch and observe and see what happens. Now, we already have a big invade coming because Washed Up is just simply saying, hey, if you want to get level 10, we just push you 6 days to Sunday and we're going to jump in and make your life as hard as possible. And we're just saying, oh, we are better than you, so we are taking fights that we would never take against any other team. And they are already trying to steal that camp away. They're a little bit low, though. Nick is at this point nearly down, jumps out with the Vault of the Warden for just a moment, but there's the Moron, there's the kill. And that's a quick one. Level 4 talents on both sides, but Deathwing turns into Deadwing and he gets taken down by Samuro too. And that's the perfect start for Hype Pew Pew. That's absolutely perfect. Here's also again the level 4 talent, so we have Tigers going into the bigger they are, as usual, standard talent on level 4 for him to take. Interestingly, I mean, there have been a few changes, by the way, to some of the heroes involved here. I went over some of those adjustments during the draft, but for him, for Tyrael, we actually have also a change now on the trade. If you can get the donation against heroes on the opponent's side, you also get a death timer reduction by 10%, which is kind of nice. So a little bit of an added functionality to make the hero, or at least the trade, a bit stronger. Also, I'm talking about talents that are stronger now. Ace in the Hole, I went over this in the previous series, has also been incredibly improved. All the level 1 talents have. One of the reasons we saw Exterminator. Doesn't help Jimmy when he's dead, though. So Jimmy gets locked down again and eliminated. 2 kills versus 2, but still a leading experience for Hype Pew Pew. And Samuro has actually gone into the deflection on level 4. But keep in mind that all of this really centers around the level 10 approach that we're going to see from the red team. They're going to try and fly in with the Medivac and take down the keeps. The one thing to always remember is that you have to take the fort down too, not only the keep. We've actually seen on the amateur scene one game in particular where a team was trying to use that strategy, which isn't necessarily a bad idea. Again, it is an annoying and powerful strategy if you don't counter it properly. But it was kind of funny to see in the amateur scene because the team that tried it successfully sniped the keep and then moved on to take the core down and was very surprised and visibly upset about the fact that they couldn't attack the core because they didn't understand what's going on. We took the keep down, why can't we attack the core? And the reason was simple, because it didn't take the fort down, so they needed to move back in order to make that happen. I think eventually they even lost it. But in this case now, Nick is getting attacked again, and Hype Pew Pew is going for the aggression, and they might get the kill, and indeed they do. Garrosh is down, and they nearly got Tigers too with this. So it's not really that bad of a setup now for Hype Pew Pew. Ahead in experience, they have a turn in that they can get. Guys, this is a good setup to go for these backdoor strategies later. Crushing blows are in as well. We have also the Willing Vessel. And this could be nasty. This could be dangerous. On level 1, the Caduceus feedback over here. Range increase at this point. Always kind of nice. Keeping yourself a little bit at the distance here. But yeah. It's gonna be nasty. It's gonna be nasty. Swift Retribution is in. And Jimmy, I mean, he gets flipped every single time. He needs really that penetrating round to push the target back. Also, look at the level 4 here. Thirst for battle at this point. For Garrosh, the entire build now with Intimidation on level 7. A few adjustments, of course, on all of the heroes. And the Octa actually surviving. Nice. The Octa surviving right here, so he is not taken down just yet. But the Web Weavers are in, and an experience lead is all that they really need at this point. If they get the experience lead, that's all that they want. Get the early level 10, start to... I mean, if they can set up the first backdoor attempt before the opponent even has level 10, that would be insane for them. And obviously, again, if you're going for the snipe on the keep, you always risk and you expect to be wiped. That's just a given. But if you can take the keep down, that is a risk worth taking. With the first Web Weaver wave, they couldn't really do a whole lot. That's a problem. They couldn't take a fort down. They have barely scratched the fort at the top. And now there's the turnaround attempt, as the blue team is attempting to turn their own gems in, and they definitely have enough to secure themselves a Web Weaver wave on their own. But, well, with this, top side, as already Halcyon, Samuro is going to be an integral part of this. He completed his level 1 quest. Yeah, and they know exactly where he is, and that's a kill. Yep, Gets thrown out and bounced back in. That's gems lost and a kill, and here's level 10 for both teams now. And here we go. There's the Sanctification. There's also the Entomb. That in and of itself is already appreciated because so far... And they're not going for it! Oh, come on! Really? I'm disappointed. We actually have Reyna's Raiders, and we have Illusion Master plus the Stim Drone. Okay, so they feel that they have a chance to make all of this happen without it. I am a little bit upset by this, I gotta say. Interesting pick into Morales then. Haven't seen that before without a backdoor attempt. Okay, so if they think they can win the straight up game here, then let's see if they can actually pull it off. I was totally set for that backdoor strategy, but nope, not this time. Also explains why they didn't go into something like Greymane or Sylvanas as a second damage dealer. But now they're losing ground. With this, we need to... Well, there's already the Stim Drone attempt now. Okay. And Jimmy is trying to get some damage in, and definitely will. But is it going to be enough to get a kill? Doesn't look like it. Jimmy's at 24,000 damage, and therefore top in the game. But they still lose out on the fort in the middle. And that's that. Alrighty. 4 down, and Washed Up is going to go for it now. And with it, I mean the second fort at the top. Leo's defended the bot lane. Yeah, Samuro is still on the run. And gets stunned out, and he is dead. Yeah, gets thrown, and you can flip around as much as you want, but that's a kill. That's a kill, and that's also another fort eliminated. 2 forts down, 5 kills against 3, level 11 on both sides still, but the structural position for Washed Up is now insane. I was really looking forward to that backdoor, I gotta admit. I was really looking forward to it, having Samuro in here for the damage, and I was thinking like, yeah, let's go. And I would have blamed them at all for it. If you go up against a team like Washed Up, you might as well try that. But in this case, as I was by the way about to say, just as we saw the Stim Drone coming through, this is a great talent. Entomb, thankfully taken, and I mentioned this. Like, a lot of people will actually like, why is Khaldor talking about Entomb? Which dummy doesn't know that Entomb is one of the best talents in the entire game? And the answer is actually simple. Blank is oftentimes on Infernal Shrine and other maps playing with March of the Black King. Now, you can of course argue that he gets also a bit more value in Infernal Shrines because he's at the same time taking down some minions. But still, Entomb is like the go-to, and for good reason. It's insane. And I expected him to maybe go something out. Deathwing? Really? Yeah, Deathwing is pretty much out of that Entomb a second after it gets dropped, and now the fight turns. The triple taunt! And the damage. They look for the kills, and they're gonna get at least the one against Leo, but they want more, of course. And it's Morales. Focus Morales! Mocus Morales! Let's go for her. And they do. Morales down, and with 7 kills against 3, the big boy lead for Washed Up with level 13 talents now. Neo Steel Coding is in. That of course means that Tychus is going to be in a decent spot. The Blood Craze, and again, the Fire and Fury. As the bot lane gets slowly wrecked here. Tyrande is turning in, and that's all that they needed. Nick has at the same time triggered at the bottom of the map. The Siege Giant Cam has aggroed it even before. So it's great for them. They come out. Oh, he actually wants to invade that. Yeah, I don't think so. Is he going to get out? Yeah. Alright. This is only level 13, so that helps. But this is now going to be Siege Giants plus Web Weavers at the bottom of the map, so that fort is a goner. No chance for it. Jimmy on 32,000 damage, by the way, so despite the fact that he died 3 times, and that he's usually on the retreat, that Morales boost with the level 10 is definitely helping him. Talking about Morales, yeah, I'm not so sure, but after the tether, the flip, that's the end of her. So they take her down right away. Easy kill right there. Deathwing is already lurking in the shadows, so to say. Trying to burn everything. And yep, there we go. Flies in deep. The walls are open. And he tries to get the connect there. Yep. That's the second one. Tyrael is down. Is looking now for that death timer reduction, of course. But they will drop that keep. There is no doubt. 11 minutes and 30 seconds in, and the keep is down to 50% HP, and it will fall. The Web Weavers at the bottom of the map are very likely making a second keep possible for them. Yeah, first one down. Just look at this. Massive wave. Siege Giants, Web Weavers, and double minion wave with the third one coming in. This is too much to handle. Keep number 2 is going to fall as well, and they have level 13. If they get a few more kills, then they will go for core. They go for Jimmy. Jimmy is dead. Morales in the back. Sanctification didn't change anything here, and with level 16 talents now, they should and could go for the core. Here comes Deathwing again, trying to get the damage in, and oh boy. Samuro is dead. Core gets attacked in just a second. 16 talents are even picked for everybody yet. Blank is getting chased down here. They get the kill with a grenade, and that will be game. Yeah, Hype Pew Pew, they made it into the quarterfinals. Good job, they took down Disgusting. That was definitely quite the feat, so nicely done by them. But Washed Up is just a little bit too strong here. A 2-0 victory for the top favorite to win tournament number 2 as they move towards the semifinal. GG and well played. Washed Up with a 2-0.